already begin cutting out our individual pieces. We've got 2 pieces of fabric, and we have added some stabilizer to the back.
And we've overlocked the edges
And we've overlocked the edges, yes.
And just cut the fabric and the stabilizer to the dimensions in your pattern.
Right.
So to make sure that you download. We've also cut our vinyl.
Yes, we've got
clear vinyl. You can buy this in colored.
It's entirely up to you.
In different colors. It's up to you. The point is to be able to have it on the finished bag so that you can see what you put in there.
Right.
This is designed to be large enough to put in a book. So if you have an embroidery book, or if you have a crochet or knitting or quilting book that you want to take with you and you just don't want it to get all banged up,
Yep.
this is perfect. And in this window, you'll be able to see it. Tip.
Yes.
When you are cutting this,
most of these will come with some sort of a backing on it to keep it from sticking to itself.
yes, this came on a roll.
Yes, it came on a roll.
So we bought this on a large roll because we do a lot of this sort of thing. So it will come with some sort of paper separating the sheets or the layers of the roll. Keep this. Don't just throw it away. If it didn't come that way and you bought it in an individual sheet,
you can use a regular sheet of just paper,
tissue paper,
or you can get some tissue paper of some sort and put it that. But you are going to want to use this because it will stick to your sewing machine
when you are sewing it. And you'll see about that here in just a moment. So keep that. That's why we have this on paper. Plus it sticks to everything. So keep it. You're also going to need a zipper, and we're going to customize the length of that zipper here in a minute. And a marking pen. This is a heat erasable marking pen. And a ruler. And those are your tools.
Those are your tools.
That's what you need. So, again, we've gone ahead and already cut out the body of the bag and added overlocked the edges and added the stabilizer. We're using a featherweight stabilizer on this.
Yes, just a very, very lightweight stabilizer.
One, just to give it a little bit of body and also to keep the corners from fraying when we cut out the window. So now we're going to lay our vinyl in the center of this, and it should be
centered-ish.
It should be centered. So just kind of take a look at it, make sure I'm eyeballing it first and then going, okay, so it's about that, and that's way off that way, so it needs to come over that way a little bit. And then, rather than drawing a box around this, we're just going to put marks at the corners.
If you try to draw a box around this, your vinyl is going to move because that's what it does.
Yeah, because that's what it does. So now I just connect
our little dots there.
4 corners, if I can actually see this one. Alrighty, so there is our first marking.
Right, so this should equal the exact size of your window. But we don't want to cut this out because otherwise your window's just going to fall right through.
Right. What we're going to do is we're going to end up making a couple of other marks that'll make the amount of overlap of this fabric on the window with a folded seam. Okay, and that's what you'll see next. We're going to mark it first at 1/2 inch from this edge, from the outside edge, and then again at 1 inch. So just like that. Alrighty, so there we are.
If you've done this correctly, you should see that there is, here in the corner,
4 boxes.
4 boxes. So you'll have an outside box, an inside box, and then 2 corner boxes from there.
What you're going to do is connect corner to corner and corner to corner. You can certainly do this with your ruler, but not necessary.
Not necessary.
All right, so connect these, connect that to here and here. And the same thing here and here, because it's a short distance. If you have trouble drawing a straight line like that, or if you just don't want to, then use your ruler. The next thing you're going to do is to go diagonally on the outside box. Okay, so you've created an X in that box. And if you're using a patterned fabric, make sure that is
plenty visible.
Or use a white marker, which we have one of those, or chalk. Alrighty, now you're going to cut out that center box.
That smallest box we're going to cut out.
Cut it out. So I'm going to do that now. So now we have the center cut out. Keep this because let me tell you, I have made little boxes out of these. That's another class. So now you can cut up to just shy of that line that we drew. We don't, especially with thicker fabric like this. Again, we're using a nice thick canvas.
This is a nice thick cotton canvas.
And yeah, so that's what we're using. If you're using a lighter weight fabric, it will fold more easily. We're only going to cut up to that line.
That first box we're going to just...
So depending on your fabric and depending on how much of a window you need, you'll see what we mean. You can cut up to that. We're going to cut up to it, maybe a tiny bit behind, we'll see. But no further than that. No further than that. Okay? And that's just to remind us, if you don't need that reminder, don't mark it in. We need that reminder.
Okay.
So you can see now, from this side, you can see the cuts. And now we're going to use our handy dandy Roxanne glue stick for basting. You can also use the liquid version of it to put in there. We just find for this works great.
We keep these laying around pretty much everywhere, so they're always at hand.
Everywhere. Because once these are pressed with a hot iron, this stays. It makes a beautiful crease, and boy, it stays. Like if you try to tear it off,
it's not going anywhere.
So steam it, and it'll come off. But, because this is a washable glue, and all I'm going to do is fold it up to that point.
Yep.
Just like that. And just give it a nice finger press. And then you'll take the whole thing over to a hot iron
and you're going to
press that down, which we're going to go do right now. So here we go. It's all pressed back beautifully. Look how clean those edges are. I love that. And I'm telling you, it's that good because of this. If you think we're exaggerating, get it.
We're not.
Get it. Use it once.
It's beautiful.
Way beyond DPP. Look at that.
This may make a nice picture frame.
This really, like I was just thinking that we could, you could make your own fabric mats.
Fabric mats, put the photo behind it, and then just frame the whole thing. Absolutely.
So stop right here, and you can frame something. Organic content, folks. That just happened as we're standing here, and that is a great idea. And now, guess what we're going to do? Because we have an entire photo wall out there that we're going to do. So now, what you're going to do for real is lay this right there on top. And that fold, if you fold it all the way out, should come right to the edge of that.
Come to the edge. It should center right in there.
And that makes it really great for how you're going to set that in. Then you are going to, so I'm telling you, the first thing that you're going to do is use your glue again and place it all the way around these edges.
Just to hold it there.
It keeps that vinyl from slipping out. You're not going to pin that vinyl.
Right.
The glue-based, especially the paste one like this, works
beautifully.
Just
lay that on.
Lay that on. Make sure that it's centered. And then just, with your fingers, give it a little press down. And you are ready to go. Now, this is where the paper comes in.
Very important.
You need this paper. We tried to do it with another piece of fabric. It won't. Just don't.
Right.
Lay the tissue paper on the vinyl. Then you're going to take this to your machine. Because if you don't, all this vinyl sticks to the zipper foot, the feed dogs, the stitch plate, the
machine itself.
The machine itself, the table around it, and it just makes a mess. So this
Make sure that everything moves nicely through the machine.
Without flipping around.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you do, that perforates this and you just tear it off. We'll show you that at the end.
So we're going to top stitch all the way around this right along the edge there.
Okay, so you have up to a 1/2 inch
Yeah.
that you can do it on. We just use an edge stitch foot or a 1/4 inch foot and just do an 1/8 of an inch all the way around.
All the way around, just nice and
so
tight.
It's nice and tight, and it makes the edge just roll up a little bit. It's really beautiful. So about an 1/8, between an 1/8 and a 1/4 of an inch is what we recommend doing, just to keep that nice and clean. So we're going to take that to the machine.
Going to sew it now, and we will be right back.
So we have finished the top stitching all the way around the edge, and you can see that. Going to flip it over to the back, and we are simply going to tear that paper off. And again, that perforates that fine tissue paper, and it just comes right off. I would not use like an EPP paper or anything like that.
Not necessary.
You want a tissue paper like the type that comes with this. Now, you can, if it won't just automatically just peel off, we use the
the 6th finger stiletto. We love this thing
because you just go. It's not sharp, and so you can just go under like this, and it lifts it right off. Isn't that? So they're bonus use for your stiletto. I mean, of course, we use it for the sewing machine, but this actually is really great for applique as well, away from the sewing machine. But it just helps break that up without cutting anything and without marring and then usually it'll just peel right out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to lay right side to right side.
Right. If your fabric has an up and a down, you want to make sure to check that you've got the right sides together so that the up goes up.
The up goes up and the down goes down. Now that's it's kind of irrelevant with this side. If this side has like faces or something that are faced up or design that goes up that way, make sure that
just double check that
it is the top of it. Then line these up, and you are going to sew
1/2 of an inch seam allowance.
A 1/2 inch seam allowance
right along
here
that
at the top. So you want to make sure the corners all line up beautifully and the top lines up beautifully. Give that a nice clip.
Pin that or clip it.
And you're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance right along the top. So now we have sewn our 1/2 inch seam allowance and then pressed that open. All right. So give it a nice clean press, being mindful of your
that
plastic.
Vinyl, you want to make sure that your iron's not on that because it'll melt.
It will. Why do we tell you these things? Alrighty, now you're ready for your zipper. Your zipper, we have just a standard zipper here. You can use this is just a zipper. It's a little too long. This is the one that we just had. I'm not going to go buy a new zipper for this because we have a lot of these. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to trim this zipper down and make it shorter by so that the stops are about 1 inch from each end.
From each end, yes.
Okay, so the length of a zipper, by the way, is the distance between this stop and that stop. And this is the one that we're going to be replacing. So our distance is, if we measure this, 10 inches.
10 inches.
Remember, that's what we cut, 10 inches. So we need this zipper to be 8 inches.
Yes.
Now,
1 inch for each side.
1 inch for each side. So we're going to take 1 inch off of both sides. The fun thing about zippers is that this one end is about 1 inch. Alrighty, is where the first stop is. It's a little bit,
just a tad bit shy, but that's
shy
fine.
of that, but that's fine. And then down here, it's going to be just past that we need that. So I'm going to mark that again, and we're going to make a new stop. I know. It doesn't seem like it's much of distance, but it is. It's enough. So I'm going to mark right there and right there. Then we're going to take that. You can either do this by hand,
you can use a hand needle and just sew right across those teeth.
So you'll go down right there and come up on the back side and then across
the teeth.
Through the teeth.
Basically making a new stop right there so that the zipper won't go past it.
And you're going to go through it several times. You're going to make a nice big stop there.
Yes.
All right. You could also buy zipper stops that change that. Why? Why? So we're going to go do that at the sewing machine right now. We'll be right back. Now it's ready to go. So you can see the top of this doesn't fly apart anymore. We just did a single tack stitch up there. Again, you can do that by hand. It's just a whip stitch in one spot. We're going to lay the zipper face down so that the zipper pull is face down. Center this, again, so that your stops, this one and this one, are about 1 inch from the edge. Okay?
Yep.
Then you can pin that in place. Or, we really do use this for just about everything. We have them all over the house, in all the project boxes. It's right next to the sewing machine. There's one on the wall right back there. Well, this is the one that was on the wall back there. And just put that down there. Again, face down so that the stops, again, that and this are about 1 inch from the ends, or 1 inch from the ends. And so that those teeth are centered. Right there. All this takes is a little finger press and it stays in place. If you feel like you want it to be more secure, you can pin it. This does the trick for us.
Yep.
Now, you're going to stitch a box around this. You're going to go very close to that stopper and very close to that stopper. Okay? And then you're going to stitch
right along the edge. Using a zipper foot is usually your best bet here.
Yeah, it really is. Most machines do come with a zipper foot.
Yes.
And so use that and just set it right up against that. You don't want to be clear up here. You want it to set, so see where that stops? That's where the zipper foot to set. And then it'll stitch right about out here. So you're going to sew a rectangle right around here. And you're going to do forward and back across that a few times and across that. But you're just going to sew a rectangle around your zipper. When you get partway down, so you start here, you work down to here, you want to move your zipper back. We use a thread pick to do this, specifically a curved thread pick, or
a pair of tweezers works nicely too.
Curved tweezers, and stick them down in there and push. Okay, it works better when this is sewn down.
You just want to move that zipper down a little bit to the other side of your foot.
A nice little trick to do is to start with your zipper about down here and start stitching down here. That way you can get most of the zipper without having to move that, and you don't have to move it twice. Alrighty, so we're going to go sew this down and we'll be right back. So here, we have stitched around here, back and forth a few times, around, back and forth a few times. That's what it looks like from the back. There it is from the front. Ta-da! Wait. So no, you cannot get to your zipper yet. So here's what you're going to do. Very carefully, I'm going to bend this up. You're going to have to fiddle it first to get it started because you don't want to cut your fabric, but I'm putting the end of my right there. That's the first thread.
So we're just going to.
And then when I went like that, can you see that? I can start seeing the sewing threads. And then here's the trick. Now you're going to push it all the way down to just before that tack. Okay? And, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Ta-da!
Now you've got...
There's your zipper. Test it. Test it. Test your zipper.
Beautiful. Okay, so 2 little last step bits here. First thing we need to do is kind of trim off this excess zipper that we've got in the back.
Yes. So get your utility scissors, the ones that you don't use for fine fabric cutting. And I'm going to trim all of that off. I'm going to trim it right up. Can see that? Up to and including the teeth.
Where we made that zipper
Before
stop.
we made that zipper stop. And we've sewn over that a few times, so you're safe.
It's not going anywhere.
Again, trim this out all the way up there. Alrighty.
Just like that.
And I may be able to go even a little bit closer just
You
to
can
get
even do
this
a little,
out of
yeah.
the way
Mhm.
to a nice little angle, just to get this out of the way. We want as little fabric in there as possible.
Because our last step is to lay this just like it is there.
Like this.
And we're going to sew all the way around.
1/2 inch seam allowance all the way.
Tip. Well, less tip and more. You must do this. Open your zipper.
Open the
up.
zipper.
Because if you don't open the zipper, you can't turn your bag right side out.
Yes.
Why do we say these things?
Plus it lays flatter
Yes, it will lay flatter too.
when the
to sew it.
zipper is, like that. So lay it flat, fold it over.
So we're just going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around.
Okay. And I'm just we're going to sew 1/2 inch all the way around and probably clip that or pin it. We're going to go do that. We'll be right back. We're back. Now we have the 1/2 inch seam allowance and we are going to trim those bottom corners up to, but not through, the sew line.
This just keeps the edges a little more
Oh,
clean.
it just makes it cleaner and neater when you're
yep.
turning. I will trim a little bit of this as well, don't you think?
Just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit, just to make that a little neater. Plus there's a lot of thickness right there. Now,
The magic.
in through your zipper, right, so we'll use either a point turner or a chopstick or
Something of that
a
nature.
bone turner, something to push out those corners.
Make them nice and sharp. Like that. Follow it over there.
The reason, by the way, why we had our stabilizer cut to 1/2 inch shorter is so that we weren't sewing through stabilizer and fabric. Just FYI.
Turn this like so. And there is
Ta-da!
our finished pouch.
And you can put a book in it. Oh, I don't know. What book could you put in it?
Could that book fit in it?
Maybe this book would fit in it.
Look at
Goes
that.
in there,
Fits perfectly in there.
zip it up, and that will protect this in your project bag. Individual patterns are great for this because they don't get crumpled up.
And you can see right through it, so all you have to do is just look and you've got
You can
everything.
remember which one, so you can make a different one of these for every one of your books or every one of your patterns.
And you are all set to go. So this is
Your project
your
bounce,
project. Enjoy it.
project
make it.
pouch,
Have fun with it.
zipper top, see-through project pouch.
Isn't it pretty?
Enjoy.
Very pretty.